Well, they've been calling for rain just about all week tonight, but it is a perfect night for baseball, and we're excited to bring it to you. Dodgers and Cubs in the third game of this four-game series after they split the first two games of the set. We say welcome inside with Oral and Nomar. I'm Joe Davis. Alana Rizzo joins us in just a moment. Corey Seager has started to put together a really nice rookie campaign. His month of May, one of the best we've seen from a Dodgers shortstop. Last night he was spectacular. He had a 3-strikeout game the night before, followed it up with a 3-hit game last night.
He'll make an adjustment, and it's really impressive about Corey Seager. We know he was highly touted and one of the top prospects in all of baseball prior to being called up to the big leagues. And what has he done since his debut in the big leagues? Well, he's ranked in the top 5 in some major offensive categories amongst the shortstops, so it's been quite impressive, and we've seen that carried over into this year. Even despite a slow April, he's picked it up in May. He had a huge home run last night. And what impressed me about the home run last night is he saw 4 straight changeups prior to getting that fastball, trying to sneak it in there, and he hit it out of the ballpark. Very fun to watch.
As you know, playing shortstop's not just about swinging the bat, though, and as you're going to talk about, he's been good in other phases of the game.
He has. You're not going to be the starting shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers as a rookie and not be smooth, not be consistent, and not have the whole game. And when you're pitching behind, or playing behind Clayton Kershaw, you have to make the outs, and the shortstop has most of the pressure. He's been wonderful there. His brother told him when he signed with the Dodgers, treat every level like you're in the big leagues, like it's your big leagues. Well, this is his big leagues, and he's here, and he is excelling.
They'll try to help this Dodger offense build off that explosion in the late innings last night in a 5-0 series evening win. It's Corey Seager and the Dodgers against the Cubs. First pitch comes up after this. Field in the third game of this 4-game series. Two teams splitting the first 2 games. Closed captioning tonight is brought to you by Shumash Casino Resort, where we are all about you. Crowd filing in. We've had 2 large crowds for the first 2 games of the series. Somewhere around 37,000 last night after it was a sellout for Memorial Day on Monday. There's quite a buzz around here in Wrigleyville right now, with the Cubs at 35-15, the best record in baseball. 364 days till his birthday. Turned 44 yesterday. The Dodgers got him a late innings victory, 5-0. Snapping the Cubs' 24-game winning streak, and Jake Arrieta starts.
It's a nice birthday present.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was telling his team, thank you very much. That's the best gift I could ask for. They came back and played really hard all the way to the end.
Some of the best presents for a manager are being able to go to a winning game scrum at the end with the press, and so it was a lot more relaxing for him, and I'm sure he enjoyed a nice glass of red wine after the game.
Especially when you consider, what happened on Monday. You get shut out and held to just 1 hit, and look at that lineup card for the next day. Know that you're facing Jake Arrieta, and the Cubs had a chance to bury the Dodgers, and probably, when you look at past history in the last year, figured that they would. And the Dodgers able to get a great start from Scott Kazmir to stay in the game. The scoreless once Arrieta left, and then the offense pounced on the bullpen.
I think that was really the key, was Kazmir keeping them in the game to the end.
Only 2 hits against Arrieta, and you think about facing him. I love the motivation that he got a no decision. We got halfway there. It would have been nice to give him an L, because I think at the end we're going to be looking at him and Clayton Kershaw as the possible Cy Young Award winners.
And so while the Cubs winning streak and Arrieta starts is snapped, his winning streak as far as decisions is still going. He's won 20 consecutive decisions, and the major league record is 24. So good luck to him as he goes and tries to get that against somebody else, right?
Well, we're glad to get by that start to get the W, because it would have kind of put a downward spin on this road trip. But now there's a chance with these last 2 games here in Chicago, and inside of 24 hours we're going to play 2 games. So these guys are going to go toe to toe, and the Dodgers could have an outstanding road trip if they could polish off a couple here in the next few hours.
See Julio Urias there. Of course, made public earlier that he will start tomorrow's game. His 2nd major league start. How about making your first 2 starts in New York and Chicago against the 2 teams that met in the NLCS the prior year?
New York, the biggest media capital in the world, and then you move over and play the best team in baseball. So baptism by fire for the teenager, but he doesn't seem too phased. He's very excited to have that jersey on tonight with the number 7 on it. So he's in a better place. The favorite number that he had, the first number he had in Little League.
When you're younger, before you as a little kid, aren't you in the backyard, acting as if you're in the big game? So he's in big games. He's ready for it.
Yeah, this is what they play the game for, right? I don't know what made him so behind tonight, but now the Cubs take the field behind John Lester. Kike Hernandez gets set to lead things off for this pretty unique looking Dodger lineup. Hernandez, Turner, Seager, Kendrick all hitting in spots that they've only spent a little bit of time in this season. It'll be Kike's 12th time in the leadoff spot. Turner's only hit second 5 times prior to tonight. Seager hits third for the 5th time this year. Kendrick cleanup for the 7th time. So the top of that order much different than anything we've seen consistently. And Thompson and Peterson. Ellis does the catching for Bolsinger. And Carl Crawford gets another start in left field. Let's take a look at the mini Let's Motor profile on John Lester, who's 32 years old, out of Tacoma, Washington. Makes his 11th start of the season tonight. And Omar, in 7 of his first 10 starts, he's allowed 1 or 0 earned runs.
I mean, quite impressive. You see his resume there just on the left, or a part of his resume, what he's done throughout his entire career. Having a tremendous season so far this year with just a 2.48 ERA as well. And when he comes after you, most effective is when he's down in the zone. That's what he's going to try to do, and pound the lower part of the zone and pound the corners. He rarely throws anything down the middle. And he comes at you with a fastball. That fastball will have a slight tail to it, slight run. And he also loves his cutter. He really likes to bury that cutter on the inside of righties. He's not afraid to throw a backdoor breaking ball to righties. He utilizes all his pitches. He's got a curveball and changeup as well. So you got to be on your toes. Try to get him up in the zone, because it has a tendency to flatten out a little more.
and get on base. He doesn't like to pick off to first base. Do you remember what you were doing back in April of 2013 and then take that forward 2 years to April of 2015? Well, in that time, did you throw a ball to first base? Well, John Lester did not, and he will not throw it over there. They find other ways to control the running game.
You guys must be living right. Somebody's living right to get us the weather we've had this season. We're calling for rain for today in particular. People are making plans for a doubleheader on getaway day, but doesn't get much better than this for game 3. And off we go with ball 1 from Lester.
I mean, yeah, you had some showers earlier today. You wake up, you see gray skies, and then it cleared up, and you walk around this great city.
God is a baseball fan.
Hernandez lifts a fly ball to deep left field, sending Bryant back at the wall, and it's gone. Kike Hernandez starts the night with a bang. A solo shot off Lester, and it's 1-0.
We saw him last night get a nice pinch hit, and I was hoping when we went to bed last night that they'd get him in the lineup today.
He hasn't started the game in the last 9 games. And Dave Roberts always talks about keeping guys fresh, trying to keep their bat hot in the game. He's been struggling a little bit. That base hit was a huge hit for him, I thought, just from not only just from an average standpoint, but from an emotional standpoint. Carries it into the game. Big hit. He said how many? Five starts in the leadoff spot?
12.
12? Yeah. One of them wasn't against Bumgarner, and he did the same thing. So, well done. It's just a nice swing. Head on the ball, barreling that ball up, driving it out to left. Pretty. We talked about yesterday when he got that base hit. That's when you want to keep him the file. Because he had a nice swing the other day, hit that ball to right center, drove that ball. And that's another one you can put in the file too.
So welcome to the game, John Lester. He's already given up as many runs as he has in 7 of his 10 starts already this year. Justin Turner swings and misses and down on 3 pitches. So Lester responds with a strikeout, 1 gone in the first. 11th major league season for Lester. Former Boston Red Sox 2006 to the trade deadline in 2014, then went to Oakland for the final couple of months of 14 and signed that huge contract with the Cubs before last year instead of signing with the Giants, who had the next best offer. That gets Corey Seager. How about the adjustment from Seager to go from his first 3 strikeout game of his career on Monday to a 3-hit game last night?
It takes a lot to make sure that it doesn't snowball out of control, because it's really easy to be, to lose your confidence in the box after a game like that. And he didn't, especially when you saw that in yesterday's game from his first at bat. He did strike out. Now you're thinking, wow, all right, this is the 4th one. In my last 4 at bats, I've struck out. But then he comes with a base hit, shakes it off, and then has 2 more hits after that, and that big home run in the end.
Lester brings him a 2-0, and he takes it low for ball 3. That was his 7th home run in the last 20 days. It ties him with Hanley Ramirez back in August of 2012 for the most home runs in a calendar month by a Dodger shortstop. It was Hanley's first full month with the team. He came over from the Marlins. Strike 1.
A lot of respect on both sides of the diamond for Corey Seager. Dave Roberts slipping him into the 3-hole with Gonzo and Puig and Utley getting a rest today. With John Lester falling behind 3-0 with the memory of the big home run from yesterday, now trying to get back into the count. It is a tip of the cap to Corey Seager when all of a sudden, too, a tough left-hander like John Lester's on the mound and he gets slipped into the 3-hole. Icing on the cake of what the Dodgers think of him and how he's performing.
see just kind of there are a little bit of shadows creeping in right in front of the pitchers in the shadow, and then you see some of the sun coming in, and it's not real bad. There's a lot worse, but it can definitely come into play.
Sharply hit by the glove of Rizzo, and Seager's got his 10th hit of this road trip.
Good job by Corey, getting 3-0, then getting 3-2, fouling off some tough pitches, staying alive, and then after swinging and fouling off a couple, barreling one up to right field.
So now Howie Kendrick. He looks to build off of the momentum the month of May as we start June. Seager with a good lead against Lester. You detailed his struggles throwing to the bases. It's been interesting though to see the numbers against him this year, whereas last year he gave up as many stolen bases as any active pitcher has in a single season. This year, really as much going on.
44 last year, only 11 caught stealing, and this year 5 have stolen a base off him, but 3 have been caught. In the year when he gave up all the stolen bases, they didn't talk about it. It was almost like taboo to talk about it around him, but Joe Madden and John Lester decided to address it head on, and Lester admitted he had trouble throwing bases, fielding bunts, everything since Little League. And they've just come up with some other strategies to guard him, control that running game.
Back to the mound. Lester's got it. Instead of starting a double play, he will take the out that he's comfortable with at first.
We've seen everything from him having the ball wedge in his glove, and he throws his glove over to Rizzo. We've seen him grab the ball and throw it straight into the ground because of the yips, and that's what he does most naturally, which is just underhanded.
Major League season for the 32-year-old who last year in his debut season with the Cubs had a below 500 record. By mid-season had been supplanted as the team's ace by Jake Arrieta. Trace Thompson with a man at second and 2 gone. Dodgers on the board with a Kike Hernandez home run to lead things off. Throw back to second. That's part of the reason why the running game this year has been minimized, is the work David Ross has done.
And not only a veteran behind home plate, helping Lester, varying his delivery times to home plate, but also that arm, that quick release. He's been tremendous behind home plate as far as throwing runners out. So that's really slowed down the game. And it's those guys, if they're at first or even at second, thinking they can get a big lead or a big secondary, he's not afraid to pick behind them just like he did there.
1-0. Thompson looks at a spinner in for a strike. Back in the city where he started his big league career as a White Sox last season. Been involved in that 3-team deal this offseason between the Reds and the White Sox and the Dodgers. It sent Todd Frazier from Cincinnati here to Chicago's South Side. Thompson, Micah Johnson, Frankie Montas over to the Dodgers. 2-2. Frankie Montas continuing his rehab. Hard throwing right-hander. Micah Johnson in AAA did have a few at-bats for the Dodgers over the first couple of weeks of the year. Lester's 2-2. Stopped by Ross. Check down to first. No swing, and it's full. Dodgers have won 7 of 9 after losing 6 of 7. Limited at 28-25. Still 4.5 back of the Giants, who just keep on winning. San Francisco has won 15 of its last 18 now. 3-2. Bounce to third. Backhand Baez. He's got a cannon but throws low thanks to Rizzo. Dug out of there. For the Dodgers, strike first. Kike Hernandez jumps on the second pitch. John Lester throws and cranks his third home run of the season, giving Mike Bolsinger a lead before he even takes the ball. Season in last night's game, a 5-0 Dodger win. Here's the lineup that he hopes can rebound. Dexter Fowler leads it off again. He's number 2 in the majors in on-base percentage. Then Hayward, who struggled in his first year in a Cubs uni. Bryant, Rizzo, Zobrist, Russell, Baez, Ross, and John Lester hitting 9th. Against a Chicago kid, Mike Bolsinger, who grew up a diehard Cubs fan here in Chicagoland, moved to Texas when he was 10. Makes his 3rd start for the Dodgers in a season where he began the season on the disabled list for the oblique injury. Was activated in mid-May, started in Anaheim, didn't go so well. They sent him back down to AAA. Called him back up a few days later after that 17-inning game. And in his 2nd start was really impressive.
He has been on an emotional roller coaster from thinking he was going to be in the rotation to getting the injury. He has come back with a tighter curveball. A better cut fastball that he just hit Fowler with. A little better fastball command. He is not afraid to pitch inside. One of the things in evaluating himself coming out of last year was if he's going to live with the off-speed stuff, with the slider, the cutter, and the curveball, he's going to have to pitch in more, and he is being more aggressive.
Well, he can't let that deter him from keep going inside there. Cool.
We'll see 4 left-handed make that 5 left-handed bats tonight. Sorry, Nomar.
No, I was just saying when he hit him, when Fowler got to first base, he looked over to him and it was kind of gesturing and saying, you know, like my bat.
Bulldog wouldn't do that, would he?
No.
Even if I wanted to apologize, I held myself back from doing it. I liked having the edge. Maybe I'll apologize to him tomorrow around the batting cage or something.
Yeah, you can't damage the Bulldog persona on the mound, right?
No. In between starts, when you're lounging around laying by the fireplace, you can go talk to him about it. But, you know, no, not when you got your teeth out.
2-0 on Jason Hayward after he hits Fowler to start his night. Trying to find the strike zone.
Now that I look at the field and see that sun coming through, this is the time that it's so hard to see home plate as a right-hander. So that could have contributed to the lack of control on that ball hitting foul.
He's missed with his first 4 pitches. Falls behind Hayward 3-0. Hayward only hitting .220 in his first season in a Cubs uniform. 1 for 8 in this series. His lone hit was a swinging bunt. 5 straight balls to start Bolsinger's night. 2 on and nobody out.
You see the super long shadow behind Mike Bolsinger heading towards first base. You know how low the sun is coming right into his eyes. And I can tell you from personal experience, it feels dangerous on the mound. And since all the misses have been up, there might be some hesitation in his delivery as he's heading towards the hitter because he doesn't see very well.
That's where you say you should really cock your hat to try to block the sun.
Strike 1 on Chris Bryant.
Almost better now with they know they have that kind of play clock that you have to throw the pitch, but come up with something in your eye or tie your shoe. Just wait for that sun to get out of your eyes. It'll be gone in about 5 minutes.
There's a 1. The sharp breaking ball, and he seems to have settled in the last 2 pitches ahead of Bryant 0-2. Rookie of the Year last year. Unanimous Rookie of the Year. Bolsinger brings him in 0-2, and Bryant strikes out swinging on 3 consecutive curves. 1 gone.
Really has tightened up his curveball since last year. Everybody knew he had the big slow one, but when he threw the big slow one, it broke up. It went up out of his hand, and the hitters recognized it after a while. But now he is really starting to throw it out, so it starts level and then breaks, and it fools the hitter a little bit more.
He started twice in his career in this ballpark. In fact, he got his very first career win at Wrigley Field while he was with the Diamondbacks in 2014. And then started here for the Dodgers once last year. So if you're wondering about nerves, he's been there, done that. His numbers have been good in those 2 starts. Strike 1 on Rizzo. Rizzo, 236 the average. He's homered 11 times, time for the team lead. He's second in the National League in runs batted in. Tied with his teammate Chris Bryant, trailing only Nolan Arenado.
Mike Bolsinger has big aspirations now with the injury to Alex Wood going on the DL. He really wants to stay in this rotation, so this game means a lot to him personally.
Rizzo on the ground to first. Kendrick juggles and feeds Bolsinger to get the out at first. And 2 gone. This is for Howie, is only his 5th start at first base.
I was about to say he hasn't played first base much, but he's been also playing all around the infield, played some outfield as well. Kind of took a weird hop right at the end up on him, but he stayed with it. Good job by Bolsinger to get over there. But also when Bolsinger caught, he put his head down. The guys had to remind him, hey, turn around. Fowler's over there at third base. Don't want him to score. But now you're going, okay, possible double play, but you can't worry about that. Now you really got to buckle down on this hitter.
And he drops a curve in for strike 1 to Ben Zobrist. A nice chance here for Mike Bolsinger, who threw 5 consecutive balls to begin the inning, to get out of the frame, but no damage done. High fastball for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Got a chance now to maintain the momentum from Kike Hernandez's home run in the first. It's been a battle, but you're 1 strike away.
Facing the guy that leads the majors in on-base percentage An 0-2. He check swings it foul into the Cubs dugout.
Really good pitch right there. A.J. Ellis wanting the fastball slash cutter inside. He hit his target perfect. Take a look where A.J.'s target is. Look at this ball right there in on his hands, trying to tie Zobrist up.
If he can get it up there, even the pitch before with that high strike, we talked about his curveball. Sometimes you can go up, but now if they set their sights there, now you can get those swings and misses with that breaking ball.
Barely got a piece there.
He would have Nomar if he'd have got it inside. That one he left over the middle, and Zobrist had enough bat to foul it off. But if he got it down and in where A.J. wants it, he is out. That little leak back towards the outside corner compared to having it very low and in was the difference between a foul ball and being in the dugout.
He hit Fowler. He walked Hayward. Struck out Bryant. Got Rizzo to ground out. And an 0-2 to Zobrist. Gets him out of a first inning jam. Mike Bolsinger rides that curveball out of a tough spot in the first and holds on to a 1-0 lead. It's a little bit of a breeze. Perfect baseball weather here for game 3 between the Cubs and Dodgers. John Lester back to the hill. Kike Hernandez had a rude greeting for him tonight, homering on the second pitch that he threw. Jock Peterson leads off the second. Yeah, looks at strike one. So Jock gets the start against a left-handed pitcher for only the second time this season. And Dave Roberts said it would have been the case even if Puig was healthy tonight. I like the way that he swung the bat regardless of the handedness lately.
He's put an awful lot of work in to really cut down on his swing. Nomar, for one, has said you can tell the difference in what the count is by his approach now.
We've also talked about how much he's been playing Pepper and kept that part of his routine. I always say that's just a good game for kids to learn back home. Practice Pepper, just learn a little bit of the back control.
Two for 16 against left-handed pitching this year. Earning a start against a lefty tonight in Lester. Leading off this second inning by taking strike 3 on the generous outside edge.
Strike zone shows like it's just barely out there, but I think it was a little bit farther than that, and that's why Jock Peterson wasn't too happy with that call. With home plate umpire Adrian Johnson was kind of, even as he was walking away, turned back around and had a couple words.
A.J. Ellis climbs in for his first at bat of this series and takes a strike. Catching Bolsinger tonight. And we'll start again catching Kershaw this weekend against Atlanta. Back in the region of the country where he spends his off seasons, Milwaukee, where his wife Cindy is from. It's on this 0-2. Lester just misses with a fastball. It's 1-2. So natural, AJ's got his family in town, with home they not too far away. But I think that regardless of how far home is away for these guys, a lot of them pick Chicago to bring the families to. Strike 3 on the inside corner.
Borderline calls hurt at different levels for a big league player. For Jock Peterson getting a start against a lefty, if you lose the borderline call, you're like looking like you can't hit lefties. For A.J. Ellis, who doesn't get in there every day, that's another one where he's protecting his pitcher by putting his head down and walking back to the dugout silently, but internally he's thinking, I might have been a ball.
Lester's third K, and now Carl Crawford cuts through a fastball to 94.
We talked about it in the open about John Lester. Guy who really stays out of the middle of the plate. He really tries to pound the corners and keeps the ball down. When he keeps it up, that's when you can get him. And that's how Kike got him. Kike hit that home run, and that ball was in the upper part of the zone. John Lester will do. He'll really try to see. We talked about pounding that corners, but how far he can get out there, and then he forces you to swing and start. He does a good job expanding that strike zone.
Got him to chase low and away to make it 1-2. Lays off this time. Ball 2.
Well, the cutter is what made him so successful. He's a two-time world champ. When he got over here to the Chicago Cubs, Joe Madden said, I'd love to see you throw a few more curveballs to slow the hitters down.
And he got it. So Lester strikes out this side in the second and has 4 Ks total today. Dodgers in front 1-0, middle 2. Series tonight at Wrigley Field. Dodgers in front of the Cubs 1-0 on Kike Hernandez's leadoff home run. On to the bottom of the second, Mike Bolsinger on to face Russell, Baez, and Ross. Addison Russell, 22-year-old shortstop, looks at a strike. 0 for 3 in last night's game. A game in which the Cubs managed only 1 hit against 3 different Dodger pitchers. So the Cubs last night, 1 hit while striking out 11 times, which is the same exact line the Dodgers had the previous day at 1 hit, struck out 11 times, lost 2-0. Russell skies one back of the infield and shallow center. Kike Hernandez settles under it, and he's got it for out number 1. You go back to Jake Arrieta's no-hitter the last time these teams met up, and this is a remarkable no-hitter. I know you guys saw it too, but it's the first time since 1900, which is considered the beginning of the quote-unquote modern era, where in 3 consecutive meetings between teams, one of them has had 1 or 0 hits.
Incredible it's gone that far, that back. You know, you would think that sometimes you just have a matchup and you're like, gosh, they have 2 aces going on back-to-back days on one team or the other, and then there's just one of those days that, all right, that would happen more often. But the fact that it hasn't happened that often, and then also the fact that, I mean, you've 2 of those times is because you had Jake Arrieta, and it's funny is that it wasn't him on the other side. They got a couple of hits off, and the Dodgers won that one by just giving up 1 hit.
Javier Baez started the opener of this series. Yesterday off. They're going 1 for 4 in the opener. Sharp pitch, 2-1. Swings over the top of one that disappears.
Curveball has gotten sharper and it's gotten better command since he started to shorten the break. That one's almost like close to a big slider. Oh, it's 12-6 down there. More like a pocket watch down there than a wristwatch. And I'm speaking of the 12-6 part.
Here's a 2-2. It looked like Baez might have chicken winged that elbow out there, but it does get him. Second batter that Bolsinger's hit, a 1-out base runner.
He's been flinching on the breaking ball. He looked like kind of flinched right into it.
Yeah.
It's like I go the way it sounded, and I didn't really recognize that he had a pad on there. I was like, it sounded like it hit something hard. I was like, if that's your elbow, you're moving a lot more if it sounded that way. But it was hitting off the pad. That's why you didn't flinch as much on that pitch. And then it was a breaking ball too by Bolsinger. So you can't get upset going, oh, he's throwing at me. So he was just, you know, he's hit a couple guys trying to. One was on a cutter, Fowler, and that one was on a curveball.
Former Dodger David Ross takes ball 1. Final season for the veteran. Started his career in the Dodger uniform. He was drafted by the Dodgers out of Auburn. Made his big league debut for LA in 2002. Cubs are Ross's 7th different team over a 15-year career. Said that he's trying to take it all in more this year. His wife bought him a notebook for him to jot down some thoughts at the end of each day. What stuck with him about the day. He said part of his favorite, part of the reason that he loves being here in Chicago is being around all the young kids. Runner takes off, throw down to second, won't get Baez. He's into scoring position for Ross.
Baez was thinking about stealing from the very first pitch. Even prior to this pitch before, he kind of flinched a little bit. He flinched even when Bolsinger picked over there. and he got back safely. So he was looking, he was seeing, trying to time Bolsinger, look for that move that he can pick up to get a great jump, and he got a great jump there.
Two and one. Ross didn't like it. He's got the same problem that A.J. Ellis had when he didn't like a pitch earlier.
You said A.J. Ellis, you saw Jock Peterson, you saw seen a few guys so far in this inning not like the calls.
2-1. Big ball swung on and missed. 2-2.
David Ross has only hit 260, but over his last 9 appearances in games where he's usually the personal catcher for John Lester, he has been hot. He's hit 375 in that guy's games of late.
These guys were together in Boston as well. Ross followed Lester over here. Well, if you're Mike Bolsinger and you can get David Ross, you feel pretty good about your chances to get out of this inning, not just because John Lester is a pitcher, but because John Lester is one of the worst hitters in Major League Baseball history.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. I don't mean to jinx it the wrong way.
John Lester, to get his first big league hit, it was over 50 at bats or so.
0 for 66.
Yeah,
Major League record.
He's hitting what, 056 this year. It was a holy grail for a while.
His first hit came off his now teammate John Lackey, literally off it. He singled off his leg. It's an infield single against St. Louis last year. Got him with a breaking ball and 2 away in the second.
Not your favorite location for a breaking ball with a man in scoring position, but it's in a window where maybe Ross thinks it's going to be a high fastball for a ball. You see the little collapse of the legs, and it breaks down and catches the top of the strike zone. If he whacks it for a base hit, we say it's a mistake and a hanger. He takes it, you take a deep breath, get the ball back, and go, I'm glad I got away with that one.
So here is Lester, who's 1 for 18 this year. And actually, since the 0 for 66 to start his career, he's not been that bad by pitcher standards.
Let's not clarify with pitcher standards.
Well, not all of us are Silver Slugger Award winners.
That was a nice recovery.
I mean, I guess all of us except me are. We're talking about the booth.
Listen, I think everybody knows there's a different standard when it comes to hitting for pitchers. So.
Rolled back to the mound. Bolsinger will toss on to first to get Lester. Cubs at a man in scoring position with 1 out, but Bolsinger pitches around it, and it's 1-0 after 2. the Dodgers tonight are facing one of the great left-handers in the game right now. As we look at our Coors Light cold hard facts, Jon Lester among active left-handed pitchers sits second in wins, way behind CC Sabathia as he's faded with the Yankees. It's easy to forget how dominant he was early in his career. Hamels third and Kershaw fourth. Scott Kazmir on that list as well.
Jon Lester brought over here to lead this pitching staff. Jake Arrieta takes off and becomes the ace, but still this is the guy with the World Series experience and a couple championship rings. 21 innings in the World Series does Jon Lester have, only one run, and he is 3-0, where the Cubs want to ultimately end up in their over 100-year drought.
Won back-to-back World Series in 1907 and 1908. Went to the World Series in 1945. Have not been back since. This team right now, 35-15, is off to the second best 50-game start in franchise history. The only one better, 1907, first of the two back-to-back titles.
That man right there, Joe Madden, was asked about possible Cubs June swoon, which has happened here at Wrigley quite often over the years when they've had some good teams, and he goes, I do not even consider it. He is not a negative thinker at all. They could have a 3, 4, 6-game losing streak and he would still be positive.
Bolsinger behind the 93-mile-per-hour fastball, and that's punch out number 5 already for Lester.
He'd be positive and he'd find a way to loosen the team up.
Speaking of loosening the team up, which Kike does on a daily basis, did it with a home run here to start the game.
You know, so much through Kike's slump, we see him up there taking one swing to try and get 3 hits, but when that ball cleared the fence, it felt like 3 hits to him.
It was his first homer since that 2-home-run night against Madison Bumgarner. Been a tough go for him since then. On 1-0, Hernandez hits it back to the mound. Lester will take it as far as he can before flipping to get Hernandez.
Exit velocity on both the home run and the ground ball back to the mound about the same. The trajectory a little different. 22.5 degrees is the best trajectory. At about 97 miles an hour, you can hit a home run. Well, that one was downwards greater than 10 degrees, so it's a ground ball.
Yeah.
Did you just see Kike just kind of get on his bat, get mad at his bat like it was his bat's fault? It got in the way. He was tripping over it.
He was going to beat it out.
Like, come on, what are you doing? Get out of my way.
Did you guys see Francisco Lindor, the Indian shortstop, trip over his own bat recently? Happens.
No, it definitely does.
Justin Turner muscles one back of second for Zobrist. In a 1-2-3 third inning for Jon Lester. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for the Cubs lefty.
for this third inning of work with a 1-0 lead. A lot of news as far as the starting rotation on this road trip. Of course, Mike Bolsinger on the hill tonight. Julio Urias make his second start tomorrow. Of course, Alex Wood being placed on the disabled list. That's why he's being recalled. Kenta Maeda still dealing with the soreness in his right hand after being hit. Will go on Friday. Clayton Kershaw pushed back till Saturday, guys, and that will be Scott Kazmir again on Sunday in Los Angeles. Kenta Maeda is saying that he could have pitched tomorrow as scheduled, but certainly does not feel that the extra day will hurt him.
All right, Alana, we appreciate it. So, guys, what do we think about, you really could have gone two ways with Urias. Start him on Saturday in Alex Wood's exact spot against the worst offense in baseball in Atlanta, or here against the best offense in the National League in the Cubs, but with the caveat that Alana mentioned, you get to move Maeda back in doing so.
I think you do what's best for Kenta Maeda as you see the stim machine on his right hand to keep removing the swelling as they increase the circulation there. And you know what? Julio Urias is a big leaguer when he's up here, and you use him where you need him. I know you'd love to break him in a certain way, but sometimes when we have all these injuries and you have a need and he is the best person for the job, you slip him in where you have to. He's going to have to face the best offense in baseball someday in his career. Might as well start early.
Listen, I know statistically the Atlanta Braves, you look at that as being a poor offense, but it's big league hitters you're facing. So when you're going up there, you got to go out there and you still got to compete, have your command.
He walks Fowler to start the third. He hit Fowler to start the first inning. He was able to strand him at third base.
Sometimes on the mound I don't like Mike Bolsinger's body language, but knowing him as a person, I know he's using it to relax himself. He can get really hyped up about pitching, and it's not a nervous energy as much as it's an adrenaline. So he walks around almost with a relaxed shoulders and kind of waving his arms, and it's not because he doesn't care. It's he's trying to relax so that he can execute his pitches.
Dodgers acquired him December of 2014 from Arizona. He made his major league debut the prior year. And he was an important piece last year as they dealt with similar issues as far as injuries in the starting rotation. This is upstairs. A.J. Ellis out to have a quick word.
When he came up last year, he actually rescued the rotation there for about his first 7 starts. And he's got a chance to be on that EMT squad right here and rescue the Dodger staff with the injuries they're dealing with Alex Wood and Kenta being moved back and slipping a rookie into the rotation with Urias. And so Rick Honeycutt and Dave Roberts are really hoping they can see the Mike Bolsinger that they got at the beginning when he got called up last year.
I think everybody's hoping to see that Bolsinger that he got called up. And right now, we saw that in the first inning where he had trouble with his command, and now back to the top of the lineup having trouble once again.
The 2-0 fouled hard off of the mask of either Ellis or home plate umpire Adrian Johnson. 2-1.
Adrian got the wake-up call. I guess you could say AJ called for it. Adrian got the wake-up call.
Yeah.
It's been some tough days back there for the umpires. Yesterday you had the fastball that went right off the chest of the home plate umpire, Jim Wolf, with no leather at all. Straight 94-mile-an-hour fastball off the chest.
He just took it.
Yeah, he did. It's like, what? Hayward with a miss on the right. Thompson is there, makes the play, fires back into the infield. Fowler's in safely.
Trace could have gotten that on line. That would have been a double play. He just pulled Howie off the bag just a little bit, because Fowler was really far off the bag. He was near second base when Trace got this ball, but if he fires that in and if that is on target, Howie's able to stretch, and that will be Great double play. Good effort by Trace.
Remember at home, that's not a tag play, so the stretch he could have covered a lot of ground, and he is out on the force.
Mike's reaction. Remember, he started the season on the disabled list with the oblique injury, and it came right after he basically had been anointed the 5th starter. That oblique injury during spring training. You can tell exactly what he's dealing with there, but something.
Looked like he had multiple symptoms and we couldn't diagnose.
Yeah.
And he was moving his wrist around like it could be his hand. He was kind of stretching his back or his side. Dropped his head like he was queasy. We had it all.
When you guys fire up WebMD?
Well, you can have a lot of things.
Bryant with a moonshot. Left center field. Way back there and gone.
Uppercut hitter with great power catches a loopy curveball and it lays there on the inner half. It can go a long way, and this one Chris Bryant did not miss from Mike Bolsinger.
Who then stretches out, it looks like his neck, and who knows. Anthony Rizzo now with the Cubs in front 2-1.
Whatever, if something is bothering him, hopefully, he's got to figure out and make the adjustments, because you can't make mistakes with the heart of the lineup. I mean, all right, that was Chris Bryant. We know he's got some power. Well, this guy does too. At the plate, Anthony Rizzo, you can't make the same mistake.
First runs the Cubs have scored since their 2-run 5th inning to beat Alex Wood on Monday. And a 2-run homer from Chris Bryant, his 12th of the year, to lead the club. Dangerous pitch here. 2-0. 2-1.
You know, Nomar, the first time around the order, he made a lot of mistakes, but they missed him. Remember the strike calls he was getting? So second time around the order, it's a little bit different for the hitters.
And against the shift, Rizzo bunted it foul.
There are two things about the shift. I mean, obviously, one, for the numbers that say this is where they're going to be hitting the ball. I mean, all the data that they get, receive, so you can place the defenders in the right spot. But also, say a guy like Rizzo, sometimes if he does square around the bunt, means the shift is in his head, and also, okay, take a single rather than his ability to hit out of the ballpark.
Opposite field liner for a base hit.
Once again, another up-breaking ball. And as you mentioned, Oral, the first time through the lineup, they were missing that pitch. But since they saw it, they also are going back and making a mental note on how to judge that ball, looking at the spin, recognizing, okay, how much is it actually going to break, seeing it out of his hand, is it popping out of his hand, is it not? And if it's up in the zone, you're telling yourself, I'm not going to miss it again.
Strike one to Ben Zobrist.
Remember, he got Zobrist on the cutter in, and then the breaking ball that leaked away that Zobrist was able to foul off, and then the breaking ball down and in that he got him to swing and miss at.
Dodgers have done a good job with Zobrist in this series. He's 1 for 7. Yesterday, they helped snap his 16-game hitting streak, which was a career high. And it also snapped a 35-game start streak in which he reached base. 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts, or 3 strikeouts actually. As Rizzo at first with 1 gone and takes ball 1.
Here's where the cat and mouse game begins, because you struck him out on the breaking ball down and in last at bat. You've got him set up for that. Do you go opposite and have the mystery pitch and lock him up, or do you go to the same strength? They went to the same pitch, the breaking ball. He left it up, and Zobrist, fortunately for the Dodgers, pulled it foul. Not as down and in as the one he struck out on the bat before. That one laid there.
That was the one he fouled off. Foul before. He didn't. This one he fouled it off again. Obviously squared it up and pulled the foul, but the other one he fouled back.
Rizzo runs, pitches upstairs, throw down from Ellis, bounces in to get him. Seager picks it off one hop.
They're going to have a look. They're going to have a look at this to make sure. But I'll tell you, even as they have a look, and if they're thinking about challenging it, right now it doesn't look like they are. What a tremendous pick by Corey Seager.
I think it might be safe.
They're in close play mode in New York right now in the replay center, and they will go into replay mode if they decide to challenge it.
And they're not going to.
Wow, you surprised?
Now remember, there's more than our look in this ballpark. The other cameras.
A little surprise.
It's interesting how Anthony Rizzo, a lot of times you can see the player almost telling you, like, no, I know I was safe, or it was how I got my foot in there, and they stay there and really tell you to look until they end up saying, no, come on, we're not going to challenge it. He didn't stay there that long for it. It's pretty.
The interesting thing I learned about in New York is that the spikes are part of the shoe, so you can be touching a bag with your spike.
Line to center. Peterson on the move. Over the shoulder. Makes the play. Stepping out of the warning track. And the inning is over. But a 2-run homer from Chris Bryant gives the Cubs a 2-1 lead. And Peterson tracks this one down on a dead run. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. And by Carl's Jr., the California Classic Double Cheeseburger for just $2.49 at Carl's Jr. John Lester to Corey Seager with ball one. It was Duke Snider you saw under our billboard there. And on this date back in 1955, Duke became the first Dodger to hit 3 homers in a game for a second time. 3 home runs at Ebbets Field against the Braves. One other guy has done that in Dodger history. That is hit 3 home runs in a game twice in a Dodger uniform. Shawn Green, who hit 3 at Dodger Stadium in 2001, and then 3 in Milwaukee in 2002.
I think that was at 3 in the Milwaukee.
Turned it into 4.
Yeah,
right.
Like
yeah.
No, he had 3 plus 1.
Right. But anybody can hit 3 home runs in a game, right, Nomar?
Yeah, 4 is impressive.
Yeah. 2-2 on Corey Seager, who singled his first time up. And is now 10 of 24 on this road trip. Chases 1, strike 3. Don Lester, since Seager's single in the first inning, has retired 10 in a row. And up comes Howie Kendrick. Howie started the season on the disabled list with a calf injury, and then eased his way into the season with a 151 average in April. So unlike such a consistent hitter like him. And as May rolled on, he started to look a little more like himself. He had 278 in the month of May. And on 1-0, he fouls it off.
And for me, I think that April, let's not forget, he really didn't have a spring training, got injured early in spring training, so it was kind of his own spring training or going through it physically and then mentally, and you have to do that right in the season, which isn't easy to do. And I think, you know, after that month passed in May, you started seeing him with his timing and that confidence back in the batter's box.
There's a 2-1. Kendrick hits it hard, but it's right at Russell. Celebrate Dodger pitching great Don Newcomb's 90th birthday at the Dodger game next Wednesday, June 8th. First 40,000 fans in attendance receive a Don Newcomb bobblehead presented by United Healthcare. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. That is a must-have item right there.
So many fans now have bobblehead collections. You've got to have the Don Newcomb one.
Trace Thompson grounded out to third his first time. All the runs in this game coming off home runs. Solo shot from Kike Hernandez and a 2-run homer from Chris Bryant. 0-2 on Thompson. Bouncing ball back of first, but foul.
That is what's known as an emergency hack. Pounding him in, pounding him in, pounding him in. Then he throws that little cutter to catch that outside corner. Trace just chopped at it out there to rescue the count.
What a night here. On the rooftops, fewer and fewer rooftop seats here in Wrigleyville, with the bigger bleachers and the giant scoreboards that have gone in. Thompson on the ground into center for a base hit. First base runner for the Dodgers in a while. He's going to try to turn it into 2 and does. Got a love down from Trace Thompson.
Great job by Trace. First of all, with this base hit, he has a swing before. You just touched on it, Oral, about being an emergency hack. And then after you get an emergency hack and stay alive, you're really going, okay, now I just got to really protect the plate. And now he's still able to stay on that ball and drive it up the middle. And then right out of the box, running hard, looking at it, saying, can I get two? Takes a peek and takes advantage. Great job, Trace.
First base runner since Seager's first inning single. John Lester had retired 10 in a row. And because of Thompson's hustle, this is a chance for Jock Peterson to tie this game with a base hit. Ross sets away, and Lester pops the mid for a strike. In a similar spot to where Peterson took strike 3 called in his first trip up there. He argued it with home plate umpire Adrian Johnson. There have been a few arguments with his strike zone tonight.
Looks like he's still talking to him about that pitch too.
It's a huge mental battle for Jock because it's right into John Lester's strength, which is walking hitters off the plate from the edges.
And you also have a veteran catcher behind home plate. Even Ross recognizes the conversation going on. He hears that, hear the frustration about it. He recognizes how he got him out the last time too. So he's going, okay, maybe let's try to walk him off.
Here's where we should see the difference in the work that he has put in this year with the pepper and the shortening of the swing and having a 2-strike approach. Give yourself a chance to drive that runner in from second by putting the ball in play.
Thompson with a 2-out double. He's at second and a 2-2. Peterson takes it outside. He's had some really nice takes on this road trip.
The take is not always about that pitch just missed and he took it, but it's the balance that he has and the tracking that you see that's going on with the take.
Lester's 3-2. Peterson pulls it to first, and off one bounce, Rizzo takes it to the bag. 2-out double from Trace Thompson, but he's stranded, and it's 2-1 Chicago.
start of the season after the Dodgers placed Alex Wood, the left-hander, on the disabled list with elbow soreness. We have an update for you guys. Alex Wood undergoing an MRI this morning in Los Angeles, and he has a posterior impingement in his elbow. It's going to require about 4 weeks of rest. He will be reevaluated after that time, guys.
He got the irritation from swinging a bat, and they thought it was around the tricep. That posterior irritation might have inflamed something, and then lost some clearance in there and got the impingement.
And so Mike Bolsinger, who becomes that much more important with that news, misses high with ball one to Addison Russell.
We've had a few different injuries and setbacks in the rotation, with Ryu having a setback from his last game where he was throwing to hitters and came up with some soreness, so that set him back. And now thinking that maybe only 15 days for Alex Wood, it's going to be at least double that, it sounds like.
Well, for Dodger fans, you know, after hearing that, and you don't want to be seeing Bolsinger on the hill kind of shaking his hand or moving, stretching, and it makes you nervous. You're like, you know, what else can happen to the Dodger rotation?
Well,
Thompson against the wall, leaps up and makes the play. What a play by Trace Thompson with no room up against that sidewall.
He got over there and then just judged where the wall is, not really trying to time it as much as knowing I want to keep some momentum in case I have to leap.
Javier Baez sends a fly ball to left. Crawford moves over on it. He's got room up against that sidewall as well.
I was thinking Crawford was going to have to do the same thing that Trace did down the right field line. That was just a great play by Trace. It's an interesting angle as the wall jets out and really hugs the foul line on both sides.
Let's go back to that Trace play.
Unbelievable, getting over there, getting in position, because usually they're going, okay, I know I'm going to have to jump, but it's getting there soon enough so you can jump up rather than jumping into that wall. You know you're going to hit it. It's going to be a slight momentum carrying you into the wall, but the key was getting over there with a good read and getting there first.
He's quite an athlete. But Dave Roberts has remarked that he's more than just an athlete. He's a baseball player. You know, you see guys that get by on extreme athleticism. Somebody like Billy Hamilton comes to mind in Cincinnati, who's a speedster and relies on that for his game. There's more than just the raw athleticism when it comes to Trace.
Yeah, he's got a lot of finesse in his body. He's got great game clock as far as understanding what's going on around him. Can actually play the game in his head, even though he's moving in another direction, understanding what it's going to take, or if he needs to make an adjustment.
Two and two on David Ross with the bases empty. Two gone here in the fourth inning. Bolsinger trying to work his first 1-2-3 inning of the night, and does. Hitting Ross with a breaking ball for his fourth K. Trace Thompson helps him out with a nice defensive play. And as we go to the fifth, it's 2-1.
Trace Thompson with a double and a beautiful defensive play already in this game, and Trace and several of his teammates have been wearing these shirts early in the day before they take the field for warm-ups. Be a Buffalo, do not be a cow, basically meaning that Buffaloes run through the storm. They embrace the pain, and sometimes the cows run away from the storm, and the pain is going to reach you anyway. Trace Thompson says, you know what, sometimes you're 0 for 30 in baseball. The last thing you want to do is play, but baseball is that way. You have to invite the pain in, embrace the trials and the tribulations. You come out stronger. And of course, it was pouring rain yesterday. He was in the indoor batting cage and just came out and embraced that storm, gentlemen.
Awesome. And we've heard about how he has approached the coaching staff, telling them how eager he is to continue improving. A.J. Ellis pulls a base hit into left field to begin this 5th inning. Nomar, is that the same way you handled slumps, that kind of attitude?
I didn't think about being a Buffalo.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking that.
What was your animal?
You know, for me, it was when I try to handle slumps was going back to the basics inside and working the cage. You know, I wanted to have the routine that I know I could always go to give me back the confidence to go back out there so my slumps wouldn't stay for a long time. I always tell people, though, that when I won my batting titles, I didn't hit better than everybody else. I minimized my slumps better than everybody else.
Because everybody's going to go through them.
You know,
slump for him was 1 for 4.
It was still a slump.
And the helmet still got broken, right? Carl Crawford struck out his first time against Lester, and on 1-0 strikes it foul, 1-1. Couple of old American League East foes going head to head here. And former teammates in Boston. Lester and Crawford faced off a bunch when Crawford was in Tampa Bay and Lester was in Boston. He spent the first 8 years of his career. He delivers 1-1. Crawford fouls it off.
You fight your way through that American League East, or the American League Beast at the time when these guys were there. You are battle tested to move to either Los Angeles or into Chicago with the Pittsburghs and the St. Louises and that rivalry and Central here.
And the Central last year, and it's not quite as top heavy this year because St. Louis isn't a world beater like it has been, but the NL Central last year statistically was the best division in this current divisional format, having 3 teams with as good a records as they had, with the Cardinals and the Pirates and the Cubs. Crawford goes the other way on the line, but Bryant is there for out number 1.
John Lester is very used to playing in the tough division there in the American League East, and he has been an American League East beater, one of the all-time best winning percentages over there, 56-28 when facing his opponent inside his rival in that division.
Javier Baez talking with John Lester about potential bunt defense here. And at first, and the pitcher Bolsinger at the plate. Lays it down in front of the plate. Ross is going to go to second to get the force. It's a nice play by David Ross.
Nice play by Ross. Nice pick by Russell at second base. You know you have to be better with your bunt, especially with A.J. Ellis. And I'll tell you, this is one of that in a meeting when you're talking about bunting and sacrificing with a man on first base, where you should bunt this ball, because he's on the hill, is right at John Lester. Even if you just bunted it hard right back at him, because he does not like throwing the ball.
No, he's not going to second.
He probably would not go to second. It's one of those. This is one of the very few cases where you're like, hey, just bunt it right back at him. Especially when you saw the third baseman and first baseman crashing.
Hernandez softly on the ground is short. Russell feeds Zobrist, and the inning comes to a close. Well, halfway home at Wrigley Field, the Cubs lead 2-1. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. Quite a view of a Dodger Cub game from last June, right through the old scoreboard up there in center field. Manually operated scoreboard. Strike one to John Lester. Bolsinger gets 9-1 and 2 in the Cub order here in the 5th. The scoreboard was put up. Same with the bleachers went up, at least a current edition of the bleachers, in 1937. Tapper along first. Kendrick steps on the bag for the first out. It's also the same year that the ivy was planted here at Wrigley. It's part of a beautification project for the bleachers. They had some seats out there, but the base of the current structure didn't go up until 1937. We've had several renovations over the years since. Most notable ones, the giant video boards they've added in left center and down the right field line, but that manually operated scoreboard in dead center untouched, part of a landmark here at Wrigley Field. The clock on the top of it went in a few years after the scoreboard was put up. It's not lost time since, not stopped keeping time correctly. 1941, it's kept ticking.
Doesn't get a tune-up like every year.
Suppose it may, but I don't know.
Still
if it,
accurate.
Right.
What they're saying.
It's accurate.
They've not had to.
Is it a Swiss timepiece?
I'm not sure what it is. It's got to be if it's gone since 1941. So I'm sure they've done maintenance over the years on it. I guess they've just never had to fix it. Park opened in 1914. It was called Weigman Park at the time. Wasn't actually open for the Cubs. It was open for an old Federal League team, the Chicago Whales. Federal League was only around for 3 years. 1913 through 1915. Brooklyn had a team, the Brooklyn Tip Tops. They were owned by the owner of a bakery. The name of his bakery was Tip Top. Aren't you glad Dodgers is the name that stuck with a team that moved from Brooklyn and not Tip Top? Los Angeles Tip Tops doesn't quite do it for me.
It reminds me of like why your little league teams are named certain things, because the sponsor
exactly
put the name of the sponsor on your jersey.
1-2 to Dexter Fowler. He swings and misses, helping Bolsinger on a pitch that was out of the zone.
You know, since we're speaking Wrigley Field and clocks, the Wrigley building is right by our hotel where we're staying, and you look up at the clock on the Wrigley building and you would think you would see the Roman numerals on the clock. Well, every number that is represented on the clock is a W for Wrigley. There are no Roman numerals, so it's interesting to look out the window and see that.
This became Wrigley Field. 1926. Hayward swings and misses, strike one.
One of my favorite things to do here, because batting practice would cancel an awful lot with night game after day game, or then just day game where they just gave the team off, is to go out and do my running in the outfield. And the bleacher creatures were let in early because it's first come first serve.
Yeah.
So I used to duck my head into the garage out there in left center and grab a gray trash can. And I would take my jersey off and put it in the trash can, and I would play catch with the people in the stands, and the one that threw the ball in the trash can got my jersey.
Wow.
And it would take them a long time. I'd move the trash can way away. And so I would stand behind the trash can and throw a ball up in the stands, and then they'd throw down and try and get it in and miss, and I would catch it from behind and throw it back up to somebody else. And it would take them a good 20 minutes or so to finally get one in there.
No wonder you were a fan favorite.
Yeah, that's why they all love the Bulldog.
It's wide open here.
Bolsinger fans Hayward to finish this fifth inning. See if the offense can get it going. With a Dodger license plate frame. You can get yours at the Dodger game Monday, June 6th. First 40,000 fans will get one. Presented by Arco. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions for tickets. All the runs coming off long balls in this game. Justin Turner takes ball one from John Lester, whose second pitch was hit for a home run by Kike Hernandez. The Cubs are in the lead on a 2-run homer from Chris Bryant, which is back in the third off Mike Bolsinger. Coming into this season, everybody knew about the Cubs' young lineup and their ability to produce runs. But the one question that everybody around baseball liked to throw out there was, how about the pitching staff beyond Lester and Arrieta? They've more than answered those questions. They entered June with the best ERA in the majors by a long shot. 2.42 earned run average. The starting staff, that's more than a half run better than anybody else in baseball. Turner in the air to right. Jason Hayward camps under it, and there's one gone. The Cubs are the first team since 1972 to enter June with 5 starting pitchers with an ERA of 3.16 or better. 1972 Dodgers had that same thing.
Very hard to get 5 guys that hot and that consistent. All it takes is a line of somebody going like 2 innings and giving up 7. Then the next start, maybe the other guy burns up the bullpen and he has to stay out there and take it, so he gets a 4 or 5 inning job with an 8 run. But these guys have been solid, and they're right up there. The Dodgers are right there with them. Not quite there yet, but comes to batting average against. Cubs are at 202 and the Dodgers are at 220 in second place. And whip, which is walks and hits to innings pitched, the Cubs are at 1.01, so they barely see a base runner an inning, and the Dodgers are at 1.09 in second. So for as many injuries as the Dodgers have had, the Cubs have outshined them, yes, but the Dodgers are doing really well with what would be called their second level pitchers in some places. Clayton Kershaw, a big part of the Dodger stats.
Seager down on strikes against Lester.
You were talking about how you look for maybe that one guy kind of goes maybe a couple of innings, but that starting rotation isn't doing that. When you also look at the fact that their bullpen is pitched the least in the major leagues, you get taxed too much because of the way not only having such a low ERA by the starting rotation, but then going deep into the games as well.
Hendricks in their rotation, has an ERA of 2.93. He's the only one with a losing record. He's 3-4.
See him tomorrow.
Well, everybody else. Lackey with the highest ERA at 3.16 is 5-2. Lester on the mound tonight is 5-3. Hamill 6-1. That Jake guy's 9-0. There's the beard. He's on one of the best runs that anybody has ever been on as a starting pitcher.
Always ahead of Lester, 2-0. And back comes the left-hander. Hendrick off the end of the bat, lazily to right. Jason Hayward there to finish a 1-2-3 6th inning. More great starting pitching from a Cub. John Lester tonight at Wrigley Field. There's the historic marquee out front. Just went through a renovation in the offseason. Looking spectacular. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Jack in the Box. It's back, the Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. Some of the old Brooklyn Dodgers, Roy Campanella, Don Zimmer, Gil Hodges, left to right after a game at Ebbets Field. Brooklyn Dodgers, not the Brooklyn Tip Tops, the old Federal League. Talked about a little earlier tonight. Chris Bryant swings to the first one from Pedro Baez, who replaces Mike Bolsinger. Bolsinger goes 5 innings and allows runs off that only swing. Chris Bryant had a 2-run homer to account for the 2 runs. It was Bryant's 12th home run of the year. And it was the Cubs' first runs since the 5th inning of the opener on Monday. Dodgers held them to 1 hit last night.
Mike Bolsinger was just beginning the 3rd time around in the order, and if there's one of the stats that I completely believe in and the things that they start to watch is the number of times around in the order when you face a pitcher a 3rd time. It's only the rare few that really can hold their stuff together and their numbers together in that 3rd time around. It's maybe only about 5% of the starting pitchers in the big leagues. The Arrietas, the Kershaws, the big time guys.
Here's a Carl's Camp replay from earlier. That home run from Bryant. Knew it off of the bat. Skyscraping home run. We talk about exit velocity and launch angle. That had both. Right in the air to center. Peterson comes on and has it. And Baez gets him for the first out.
His bullpen is on quite a string of great innings, now being 40 with that out recorded. ERA before that out was 1.36 over that time period, which is the best in Major League Baseball.
That run you're talking about, Earl, starts the day after the Upton home run against Kenley Jansen on a Friday night in San Diego to beat the Dodgers. And bullpen's been really good since. Of course, he had that 17-inning game where Ross Stripling gave him several innings. Rizzo hits the ball a ton, but well fouled.
If we're going to keep talking about how good the bullpen's been, we better knock on wood again so we don't get any jinxes on Twitter.
And then you have that loud foul ball right there.
That just told me to stop talking about it right there. That was just the warning. It was like thunder before the rain.
Yeah. Let's at least wait until Bryant, Rizzo, and those guys are done coming through the order. Painted right there, though. Strike 2.
It's all about timing. I mean, when you're a manager of a big league club, you always want to have your team meetings to turn them around the day your ace is going to pitch. You got a really good chance for your meeting to work. That just killed anybody's bravery to talk about how good the bullpen is right now.
Done.
That foul ball was done. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Do it.
They've been better in counts. They've been attacking the strike zone. Pedro Baez here has been working on his pace. He's been accused of being really slow, and I think it's a little bit more than accused. I think he's been guilty, and he's working really hard to get back on the rubber, stay in rhythm, and attack the hitters.
Ellis sets in for a 2-2, and he got him swinging with a fastball at 97.
I also think there's a few guys that they need their confidence to build up in that bullpen, and Pedro Baez being one of them, and climbing the ladder. Climbing the ladder is a good pitch when you have a 95+ fastball. Because you have those hitters geared up to try to, first of all, catch up to that, because you have to look for it.
So 2 gone. Here's Ben Zobrist. Ball one. Dodgers would love to see Pedro Baez grow to a guy they can trust in key spots. Something that they've counted on from him. Induces soft contact. There's Turner at third, and there's a 1-2-3 inning for Baez. To keep the score 2-1, Thompson, Peterson, and Ellis coming up in the seventh. Time for greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Dodgers on this road trip are 3-2. They'll play one more tomorrow in the afternoon. Look at the team ERA during this trip. No runs allowed the last 3 games from the bullpen. A scoreless inning of work from Pedro Baez so far tonight out of the pen to keep it 2-1. Trace Thompson looks at strike one. Dodgers overall 2 games above 500 away from home. What's been especially good on the road has been the offense, one of the best in baseball in visiting parks. Saw an interesting note the other day, and I've not checked it to see exactly where it stands right now, but as of Saturday, across Major League Baseball, home teams had only won 2 more games than road teams. Off the end of the bat, Lester there to cover to get Thompson. Be the lowest winning percentage for home teams in Major League history.
Wow. Most of the time, the home field advantage, it really doesn't come down to home cooking or sleeping in your own bed. It comes down to the bottom of the 9th, and you understand exactly what it takes, or the top of the 9th if you're ahead, but exactly what it takes to put the W on the board. The equation is so very well defined. That last at bat is huge value.
Home run for the Dodgers tonight came on their second swing, or their first swing, and the second pitch. Fox corkscrews himself into the ground, comes up empty, strike one.
And that's fine. I don't have no problem with Jock Peterson taking. That's what you're supposed to do early in the count. You know you have the power to go deep. We were talking about how it's a little bit different when there's a man on second base, 2 outs. You shorten up a little bit.
Peterson shakes it to third. Baez, 2 gone. You're talking about it during the pregame show today, Nomar, how good this team has been in the late innings this year.
Yeah, they've actually scored more runs when you combine the 7th inning, 8th inning, and 9th inning this year than any other 3 innings combined together.
And that's saying something, because you don't always bat in the bottom of the 9th.
Right. And they have. They scored quite a few runs in the 9th inning.
7th and 8th then carry the workload, though.
And they're going to need to continue that right here.
Yep.
I mean,
A.J. Ellis off of the barrel, but right at foul. Another 1-2-3 inning for John Lester. Needed only 6 pitches this time, and he's only thrown 89 total. On Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. This is only the 3rd time in 25 Pedro Baez appearances this year that he's worked into his 2nd inning. 1-2-3-6. On to face Russell, Baez, and Ross in the 7th. And he buzzes Addison Russell with ball 1. April 28th against Miami, went 1 1/3. And then May 13th against St. Louis, 1 2/3. There is nobody warming down in the Dodger pen. So they'd like to see Baez go 2 full innings.
A better way to learn how to pitch and to get on a roll is when you're feeling good and your manager lets you go back out to the mound. We saw that with Joe Blanton last night. Dave Roberts and Rick Honeycutt recognizing that Joe Blanton was throwing the ball really well, ran him back out there for the 7th and 8th. Doing the same thing here with Pedro Baez.
And just in case, J.P. Howell start his warm-up routine. Only lefty that's due up in the bottom part of the order is the 9-hitter, John Lester, who will stay in to bat for himself. Boy, talk about defensive positioning. Kike Hernandez shaded up the middle and down to a knee. Didn't move a step left or right. This was a rocket.
That's where you're talking about exit velocity being high, but the lucky trajectory. That wasn't where the, what would you say, 22%? What's that?
22.5 is the best launch angle, I guess, for a home run.
Okay, well, that one wasn't it, and that was just good placement.
It was almost 0 degrees off the bat. It was flat.
See, I can't measure it from up here, so just know it's an out. Nice play by Kike.
Javier Baez looks at ball on from Pedro Baez. Second time we've had this matchup in this series.
You know, that's a perfect example of that line drive out at where the positioning of the fielders, when it looks like a shift or looks like a little different than traditional, they don't get the credit because it just goes unnoticed. You feel good about it. It's great. The guy was there. He's out. But it's when that squibber goes through a large gap because the data and where they should be, not the traditional placement, but where the data tells you most of the balls are hit, when all of a sudden one goes the wrong place, everybody kind of throws up their arms. The Dodgers are in the top 2 or 3, I would say, in all of baseball as far as accuracy of placing their fielders. Are we second in efficiency right now? To just the Cubs?
Behind the Cubs.
And what efficiency is a measure of a team's ability to turn batted balls into outs.
So that would have to do with the player's ability, range, and then also where are they starting? Starting them in the right place. And I don't think anybody would argue that Corey Seager is not a really good shortstop, but not always the rangiest, and that Justin Turner, with his leg surgery and his movement, not always the rangiest, and with Adrian Gonzalez, not always going to have the widest range. And whoever we have at second, Chase Utley, not in his prime, not probably the fastest guy there, but that means between them, their first step, their read off the bat, and then where they place them, they're doing an amazing job.
Similar placement on Baez that they had on Russell, and it's 3-2.
And that also goes to the outfield as well.
Yep.
It's not, I mean, and we have guys who can track the ball down. I mean, Jock Peterson covers some major ground out there. Trace Thompson can cover some ground out there. But they are also, you know, they take pride, the Dodgers, George Lombard, the whole entire order takes pride in placing those guys as well, and they've done a good job doing that.
And just because Yasiel's hamstring's tight, we can't forget him.
Yasiel, yep.
You mentioned you thought Russell's lineout had a good exit velocity. 104. Major league average 88, 89. You can hit homers in the mid to high 90s.
Yeah, I think it was around 97 at 22.5 degrees on the launch angle, which it's starting to feel like that's going to become part of the vernacular of baseball. The exit velocities and the launch angles. Really what it is it's statistical data that's accurate that tells you what your eyes are really seeing.
Confirmation.
Yep.
Baez taps it in front of the plate. Ellis has it, spins and throws him out.
Oh, wow.
And then Howie had his hand out there. Baez ran through it and recoiled in pain.
It's the scariest play for a first baseman. Is that ball tailing into the runner as he's getting down first base with this angle, whether it's the third baseman throwing it up the line, your catcher. Ooh. That's one where, just from experience, you play there a while and you see Adrian Gonzalez do that. It's not so much where you're actually just stretching out and leaving it out there. It's almost like you're waiting for the ball to catch it and then move it. Just let it get to you and then move.
And so many things at risk, everything from down by your wrist and your hand to your elbow and your shoulder, which Howie is trying to loosen back up.
Ugh. Oral, as a guy who's had shoulder surgery yourself, I know watching that is painful, huh?
It is. You know, you don't bend that shoulder back. I mean, on your throwing arm side, it bends like that when you throw a ball. The external rotation gets to that level. But on your non-throwing side, you don't really work that out where the flexibility is going to be real good, bending that back on that side.
Nomar, did you avoid shoulder issues, shoulder surgeries?
I avoided shoulder surgeries, yes. I did separate my shoulder. That was going for a ball, and as I was ranging for one, I caught it, and as I was trying to tuck my shoulder in, I couldn't tuck it in far enough, and I landed on it. but knock on wood, no surgeries.
Ross fouls off strike one. They are a you know what, huh? How about both of them done? No fun.
No, it's not a ball and socket joint. It's a joint that is being, the shoulder is being kept in the middle of the joint by rotator cuff muscles all firing in synchrony. It's like a seal balancing a ball on his nose. All the movements you do with your shoulder.
I just remember how painful it was separating it. Oh. And then that night, you can't even, there's no comfortable position to lay down or try to sleep. It's a lot of pain.
Still bother you at all?
No.
How about yours?
No, mine doesn't bother me at all. Don't ask me about the rest of my body. I wish I should have had it all rebuilt mid-career also. Backs and ankles, and the non-throwing elbow is killing me now. But who cares? Let's watch the baseball.
Yeah. Pedro Baez with 2 perfect relief innings. The bullpen keeps on rolling, keeping the offense in the game. It's 2-1 as we go to the 8th. Early Sunday, June 5th. Viva Los Dodgers, presented by State Farm and Time Warner Cable. Family-friendly pregame festival held at the historic 76 station. Entries free with a game ticket. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/Viva. Pedro Baez, encouraging signs tonight. 6 up and 6 down for the hard-throwing righty.
Getting the spots, not making mistakes. Kind of like John Lester in the middle of the plate, working the corners, and outstanding velocity.
John Lester back there with pitch number 90 of the night. Missing with ball 1 to Carl Crawford.
Pedro Baez getting a little tutelage from Scott Kazmir on the changeup, which he threw a few tonight. Scott has perfected over the course of his career and showing him about release point, maybe when he turns it, when he doesn't turn it. I was a big fan of getting your hand in the right position before you accelerated your arm forward, where some guys like to manipulate it a little bit more at release.
2-0 to Crawford. Strike one. And Yasiel Puig on the on-deck circle. Set to bat in the pitcher's spot. Comes a 2-1 pitch. Crawford stabs at it. Strike two.
For me, you have one strike on you and you're thinking about squaring around and bunting, you really have to be committed. And right there, it didn't look like Carl was really too committed on that one.
Nice take there to run it full. Dodgers down by one. Would love to get the tying run aboard to begin the 8th inning, with Puig set to bat next. Lester home with a 3-2. One gone.
Well, he's pounding him outside, so that's where Carl was looking, and then this one comes back inside. Even though it looked like David Ross wanted the other one to still be outside. A mistake, but that definitely catches the inside part of the plate.
Sometimes mistakes can turn into Hall of Fame pitches when you hit the opposite corner.
So Puig pinch hitting here in the 9 spot. His second day in a row out of the starting lineup with the left hamstring tightness, but available to hit. Told Dave Roberts that last night. Decided to keep him on the shelf, rest him in the starting lineup today, but in a spot here where he could tie it with one swing.
Well, I'll tell you, it's really important for Yasiel Puig. I mean, for anybody too, when you're in this position, when you're dealing with a sore hamstring and you're going, okay, I can pinch hit, but you fight with yourself to, when you put the ball in play, not to let your instincts take over, because your instincts is to really get out of the box really hard rather than you kind of ease into it. So make sure that that sudden movement doesn't happen so you can make it worse.
Shakes his head. Nope. 2-0.
Fish ain't biting.
Well, for a guy who's been struggling and who's been injured the last couple of days, got confident body language. 2-1.
I don't know which particular area Adrian Johnson, the home plate umpire, has given him, because I've seen it go and give him out, in, up, down, all over, both sides.
Puig drills a liner to center. Fowler hit it hard, but in the wrong spot. 2 gone. Second time tonight, John Lester's retired at least 9 in a row. And his 100th pitch will come to the guy that has the Dodgers' only run tonight on a leadoff home run in the first inning. Kike Hernandez took Madison Bumgarner deep twice in one game back in April. Can he do the same against Lester and even the issue? Retired by Lester. Ross throws out Hernandez and onto the bottom of the 8th on another dominant night of Cubs starting pitching. It's 2-1. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We treat kids better. Casey Fiend, third game in a Dodger uniform, 6 up and 6 down over his first 2 outings, and John Lester staying in there, which means we'll see him to begin the 9th inning. Swings at the first one from Fiend for strike 1.
Just like Lewis Coleman, the Dodger front office looking for a rebound season from Casey Fiend. He's been a successful big league pitcher at this level. And Lewis Coleman did it for Kansas City, had a rough year and was cut loose. You're grabbing him off the scrap heap pile in some ways, but in other ways you're seeing pieces of why they were so good and were really integral parts of bullpens, and you're hoping that they can find that as you watch them kind of progress and reinvent themselves. Sometimes it's a little nagging injury, sometimes it's just a lack of confidence, sometimes it's a change of scenery that'll just wake you up, and so far it's been great for Casey.
It's been a dream come true for a kid who grew up in Los Angeles, a Dodger fan. Has never pitched at Dodger Stadium though. He had never pitched at Citi Field. Check. He had never pitched at Wrigley Field until now. And he hopes that this weekend and on this upcoming homestand, cross that one off the list too. He said if Vin Scully says his name, his father will cry.
Wow. I think that's probably been a lot of us, our experience. It's going to be a lot of tears in September, and hopefully it'll move through October with the Dodgers. The last time we get to hear Vinny.
He strikes out Lester, 1 away in the 8th. Got off to a rocky start this year with the Twins, but like you said, they're hoping he can recapture that form from the previous 4 years where he was above average. It's not every day you can pick up a guy who's been an above average major league relief pitcher at this point in the season. People always ask, well, why don't teams that have bad bullpens address those bullpens at this stage of the year? You can't unless you find guys like this that have been cast off and you can count on to bounce back.
The one thing about a veteran that has done it for a long time but then falls on hard times, you don't have to worry about nerves. A young guy that you can project as a big leaguer, there's still some parts of him you don't know about. But with a guy like Casey Fiend, you're not going to worry about can he slow the game down. You're not going to worry about is he going to get nervous in big situations. What you're going to worry about, and maybe you can, is having a great pitching coach like Rick Honeycutt, who has proven that he can fix guys and maintain guys in hot streaks. Maybe he can give him a tip or two and help him. Rick has done that for many a guy.
We probably don't talk enough about Rick Honeycutt and what he means to this organization. A.J. Ellis has said before that he's the single most valuable member of the Dodger organization. Fiends 1-2. This is the Fowler, and the count evens up.
There's a lot of pitching coaches that understand mechanics. There's a lot of pitching coaches that understand they can go study and maybe look at the data to break down a hitter. But all of those two things, he is at the top. But his bedside manner for the pitching staff and understanding what to do with them individually, where their buttons are emotionally, what they talk to when you're adjusting something mechanically. Do they talk to their front arm? Do they talk to their back leg? You know, understanding their language. He is so good at being able to communicate to so many different personalities and people.
So back-to-back Ks for Fiend, getting Lester, then getting Fowler, and now Hayward takes ball one. I think the most impressive thing for me about Rick Honeycutt is the fact that he's now spanned 4 managers. That's impossible.
Yeah, it's true.
Grady Little to Joe Torre to Don Mattingly and Dave Roberts.
And each manager that has been turned over, when getting another job, calls him right away. And he stayed loyal to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have stayed loyal to him.
th year now for Honey. He's the pitching coach. Team with a chance to strike out the side is 1-2 to Jason Hayward.
It was fun right there to see that shot of Rick talking to Dave Roberts, because I think they were talking about the pitch before, the cutter slash slider, and it was so good. Rick was smiling about it, kind of glad we got him. I like that pitch.
Rick from Chattanooga, Tennessee, played his college ball at Tennessee. He's a first baseman and a pitcherman. Actually won an SEC batting title while he was with the Vols.
Very humble about that. I was his teammate for a while. He never mentioned that.
Ah, well, he figured talking to a silver slugger like you, he wants an SEC batting title, you know.
He was my catch partner as long as we were teammates. We had a lot of great discussions with Sandy Koufax and Ron Peronowski and Dave Wallace, who was with us in the organization. At that time, our general manager was Fred Clare. And there were a lot of late night and during the game pitching conversations.
Fiends 3-2. Back up the box into center. Hayward with a 2-out single to keep this 8th inning going. First base runner Fiend is allowed in his 2 2/3 in a Dodger uniform.
Well, that was just a good battle between Fiend and Hayward. Hayward working the count, getting back 3-2, and then just taking it right back up the middle. Now it's up to Fiend not to let this snowball, but see if he can just get a quick out right here so he can get that offense back in the dugout and try to see if they can, at the very least, try to tie this up.
Chris Bryant, his 2-run home run, the difference. That came back in the 3rd, went into the batter's eye in center off Mike Bolsinger. J.P. Howell getting ready if this were to get to Anthony Rizzo, the left-handed hitter who's on deck.
A quick little visit from A.J. Ellis to kind of give J.P. Howell a little time down there. JP's second time up won't take him very much, but they're just making sure, and a little delay there.
A single from Hayward was the first base runner for the Cubs since the 3rd inning when Rizzo followed Bryant's home run with a single. Another encouraging night from the bullpen. Chris Bryant, former 2nd overall pick in the draft only 3 years ago. 24 years old, went to San Diego for college. The Astros, who have done such a good job drafting and building that thing from the bottom of the barrel, passed on Chris Bryant and drafted a guy named Mark Appel from Stanford, who they've since traded away, and he's toiling away in Philadelphia's minor league system now. Can't get them all right. Can you imagine an infield that has Chris Bryant at 3rd, Carlos Correa at short, Jose Altuve at 2nd?
It'd be together for a long time. Really, really good.
He really wanted that pitch, I know, Oral, because it's been a strike.
Most of the night.
Yep.
And it is a strike. Plate has been on roller skates for Adrian.
Turner, Seager, Kendrick due up for the Dodgers in the 9th inning, and let's remember that Dave Roberts has Adrian Gonzalez that he can bring off of the bench. Hector Rondon has started to loosen in the Cubs bullpen. You wonder if the length of this half inning here has made them reconsider sending Lester back out there for the 9th.
I know this was called a swing on the check attempt. Boy, it also looked again like it was a strike.
Wow.
You've seen that called in this game as well. We've seen both of those pitches, his last 2 pitches, both called strikes.
Hayward at first with 2 gone. Fiend checks him back. Bryant strikes out swinging, and Casey Fiend with 3 Ks in the inning around the 2-out single from Hayward. Let's see what the Dodgers can do in the 9th. Turner, Seager, Kendrick coming up, down 2-1. The #1 live streaming sports service delivers everything you've come to expect and more. It's the #1 app for live baseball. Be sure to check it out tonight. So here we go. On to the 9th inning. Hector Rondon, the Cubs closers, in the dugout, and John Lester's on the mound. Ball 1 to Justin Turner. Got the guys coming up you want. Seager and Kendrick follow. Adrian Gonzalez available off Dave Roberts' bench. #104th pitch of the night. Upstairs to Turner. Season high is 109.
Justin Turner faked the bunt. Remember, John Lester does not like to throw to bases, but the fact that he faked it, maybe he got in the craw of John Lester there a little bit. That last pitch was out of the ordinary for him to miss that much.
Bouncing ball to short. Russell. Well, he fell behind him 2-0, but got him to ground out to short. He's 2 outs away from his first complete game since last September.
And Justin Turner's upset with himself because he knows that was a pitch he could handle, and he just mishit it. Hit it right into the ground. Now it's up to the young one, Corey Seager. We were talking about how good of a game he had yesterday to bounce back. John Lester, 4th time through the lineup in his career, 254 average, so still effective when guys go through him 4th time around.
Outside corner for a strike on Seager, who singled in the first inning against Lester, but has since struck out twice. 2 of the 9 Ks for the left-hander who delivers 0-1. Corey trying to continue this run where he's hit 7 home runs over a 20-day stretch. Home run here would tie it in the 9th inning. Lester's 1-1 and Seager fouls it off 1-2. Cue shot to short. Russell takes a tough bounce and throws him out.
Addison Russell does a good job on that ball because that's not easy, especially hit off the end of the bat. Has some spin on it. Stays with it. He worried more about just catching it first. And what I mean by that is he didn't worry about getting his body really around that to anticipate the throw because he knew of that spin. Get it first, and then he gathered himself to make the throw.
Well, it's up to Howie Kendrick. Strike 1. Dodgers got their only run of this game on Lester's 2nd pitch. Kike Hernandez deposited a homer into the left field bleachers. The Cubs' 2 runs came off a home run from Chris Bryant in the 3rd. 0-2 on Howie Kendrick.
Fans looking for that 10th strikeout with no walks. Also 11 ground balls and only 2 flyouts for Lester. He has definitely pounded the bottom of the strike zone.
He retires the final 14 men that he faces and has his first complete game of the season.
Well, the Dodgers, other than that first inning with Kike's home run, the only real threat they had was coming in the 4th after Trace taking a single, turning a single into a double by his hustle. I mean, really only 2 guys in scoring position. They were 0 for 2 in this game, and tip your hat to John Lester because he really took it to the Dodgers today.
Quick turnaround to tomorrow's game. Dodgers will look to make the road trip a little bit better and have a happy flight. And on the mound with Julio Urias getting the ball, he's going to feel a lot different getting his 2nd big league start than he would when his first one started.
Make it against Kyle Hendricks tomorrow. Time for our Lexus player of the game. Pretty easy choice. John Lester able to recover from the leadoff home run that Hernandez hit. The strikeout 10. I said 14. Retired the final 15 Dodgers tonight. And so in game 1 of this series, Cubs pitching retired the final 25 Dodger hitters. In game 2, Dodger pitching retired the final 19 Cubs hitters. The script flips once again here in game 3. Dodgers will try and salvage a series split tomorrow and try and clinch a winning road trip. That does it for now from Chicago. For Oral and Nomar Milana, Joe Davis sending it to Access Sportsnet. Dodgers brought to you by Nissan. Back to the park in a bit.